Hello and thanks for choosing RTV News. It's a pleasure bringing you the latest here in Rwanda and around the world. This is what we have coming up for you. The genocide perpetrator Law Buchibaruta has been sentenced to 20 years in prison by a French court for his role in the genocide that was perpetrated against the Tutsi here in Rwanda back in 1994. RwandaTV is going to begin flying to Paris from Kigali as part of its efforts to expand operations. And the Catholic Church in Africa has been called upon to use their media outlets to promote unity among Africans. This is RTV News. I am Isabel Masozera. Now on to our top story. The genocide perpetrator Laurent Buchibaruta has been sentenced to 20 years in prison by a French court for his role in the genocide that was perpetrated against the Tutsi here in Rwanda in 1994. Now the former prefect of what used to be Gikongoro Prefecture between 1992 and July 1994 has been on trial since May 9th before a Paris court for genocide, complicity in genocide, and complicity in crimes against humanity, charges which he denied. This follows the closing of the case last week where prosecution had sought a life sentence, which Baruta, who has been dubbed by survivors as the Butcher of Gikongoro, is specifically accused of masterminding the massacre of the Tutsi in Murambi, Chanika, Kaduha, Jibeho, particularly in Murambi. Over 50,000 Tutsi were exterminated on Buchibaruta's orders, making it one of the most horrific atrocities committed during the fastest genocide in recorded human history. Now moving on a lighter note, RwandaTV is beginning to fly to Paris from Kigali as part of its efforts to expand operations. Now the news has been welcomed by officials of the International Organization of La Francophonie, who have noted that it will help to improve cooperation and trade between the French-speaking countries. We have more.
As of Monday this week, Rwanda is hosting a group of more than 100 traders and investors from around the world who are members of the Francophonie family. They arrived in Rwanda from Gabon last week. This is after the organization launched a business and investment development program named the Economic and Commercial Mission of the Francophonie. One of the major obstacles to trade and commerce between Francophonie countries is transportation. However, the Secretary General of the International Organization of La Francophonie, Louise Mushikiwabo, says the issue is slowly being resolved, especially with the new direct flights between Kigali and Paris being announced.
Tous les opérateurs économiques qui étaient à Libreville sont venus à Kigali par Rwanda Air. Plus de 120 personnes ont pris le vol de vendredi soir, c'est ça?
Traders and investors in Gabon came to Kigali flying with RwandaTV. More than 120 people arrived by plane on Friday evening. However, RwandaTV travels between Kigali and Paris will begin soon. A great opportunity for many people in Francophonie to explore. We have a large Francophonie community living in Western and Eastern Europe, and those who live far, whose main destination is Paris, making the RwandaTV flight from Kigali to Paris a very helpful one. Because as you know, the integration of countries at the regional and continental level is very difficult without convenient transportation. The Secretary General also noted that the investors are keen to learn the trade and investment opportunities here in Rwanda, which will inevitably promote trade within the OIF. We have brought in Kigali more than 70, almost 100 companies from the La Francophonie family. They have come to visit and explore the opportunities available. As for Rwanda, we have achieved much. 3 companies have signed agreements as of today in Kigali. Our goal is bigger, but we are working towards achieving tangible results.
havamo ibintu bifatika.
On Tuesday morning, the investors first held talks with the counterparts in Rwanda and trade and investment promotion authorities to highlight the opportunities in the country. The Bank of Kigali's CEO, Dr. Diane Karusisi, says the financial and banking sector is one of the most lucrative sectors that investors should consider.
Le secteur des PME a un déficit.
The small and medium-sized businesses have a $1 billion deficit each year, and those figures are from 2017. I believe the way COVID-19 pandemic disrupted businesses, that deficit has most likely doubled. We therefore hope that we will be able to provide all these loans to our economy and business to guarantee economic growth that the country and the government expect from us to achieve at a growth rate above 10% per annum, which will also make the country income by 2035.
D'ici 2035.
Other investment opportunities in the industrial sector that will add value are agriculture and livestock production, renewable energy, technology services, and more. Rwanda's Trade and Industry Minister notes that Rwanda's geographical location and the policies geared towards the ease of doing business are important opportunities that should not be ignored.
Iyo umuntu aje gukora ubucuruzi mu Rwanda ntabwo areba isoko rya miliyoni 13 z'Abanyarwanda.
When a person comes to Rwanda to do business, they don't just see 13 million people in Rwanda as the market potential. They see the East African community and other regional blocs we are part of. They see the integrated market, which is big, and they see the best place to invest, which is why they come and choose the best option. What Rwanda has going for it is ease of doing business, opening a business fast, and the logistics involved. And the market scene as a collective presents a big advantage.
Ariko icyagaragaye nuko izi misiyo z'ubucuruzi zigira umusaruro mwiza.
The Organization of La Francophonie is made up of 88 countries, up to 14% of the world population. The organization accounts for 16% of the global GDP and up to 20% of global trade.
Now moving on, the Catholic Church in Africa has been called upon to use their media outlets to promote unity among Africans. The Catholic Church has also been urged to invest more in media and communications. Precious Kirezi filed this report.
Members of the Catholic Church say media platforms that conform with their faith have boosted their spiritual growth.
In the mindset of the pandemic, we followed sermons on TV or radio, and listening to the Word of God impacted our lives for the better. I learned how to treat my fellows and other Christian values that have made me a better person and avoid violent acts. The Word of God has built me up.
Kigali hosted a Cygnus Africa conference that was attended by journalists from Catholic media houses from over 10 African countries. The meeting focused on how the Catholic Church can use their media platforms to promote communal unity and join forces in an effort to improve the living conditions in their respective countries. Archbishop Antoine Kambanda says the media plays a significant role in sharing the good news with everyone.
Dear Catholic communication professionals and practitioners in Africa, you have a vital role in this process. Social communication today is very important in building the communion of the faithful and to be the light in the world. We saw the importance of this means of communication in keeping us in communion. We saw the importance of these means of communication in evangelization.
The Minister of Local Government says the Catholic Church has been a good partner to the government and is playing a recurring role in promoting unity and reconciliation.
Rwanda has made a good use of the lessons from the history. Instead of remaining in ethnical divisions, we choose unity. so that together we can work for the development of our country and the well-being for all. And we owe this from His Excellency the President Paul Kagame, his leadership, visionary, wisdom, so that you can feel in your home here in Rwanda. The government of Rwanda recognized the commendable contribution of the Catholic Church in various domains, including health, education, and most importantly, unity and reconciliation.
Attending the conference are experienced journalists working with Catholic media platforms like the Vatican Radio that are instrumental in sharing the gospel with the world's population. After acknowledging that technological advances wait for no one, leaders of the Rwandan Catholic Church say they will be modernizing their media platforms to make them more legible to reach the youth, especially through social media. Media platforms for the Rwanda Catholic Church include a historical magazine in 1936, the children's magazine Hobe in 1953, as well as Radio Maria and Patches Television, established after the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. Precious Chidezi, RTV News.
Thank you, Precious. Now moving on from matters of faith to leadership. Members of Senate Standing Committee on Economic Development and Finance have urged local leaders and residents in areas where basic infrastructure for development is yet to be established to work together to address the different challenges they are facing. Serge Ntore with more.
Urban development projects in Kigali City are commonplace. But that doesn't mean that all areas of its 3 districts have everything they need. An example would be Jabana sector in Gasabo district that for the longest time did not have a single tarmac road. 4 years ago, local residents raised 700 million Rwandan francs among themselves to build a 7.8 kilometer road, but that amount could only account for 15% of the required funds, so the government stepped in to cover the rest. Life is so much better now, and because our area is close to Kabuye, many people have moved here to construct good houses now that we have a good road. They don't have to worry about mud and such. In the parts of Jabana sector where tarmac roads are yet to be constructed, local leaders and residents are determined to work closely with Kigali city authorities to make it happen, because the cost of doing nothing is proving far more burdensome. For example, people like us that work in this zone really struggle to bring in goods wholesale. Most trucks are not willing to come here and stop where the tarmac road ends. That means the cost of getting goods here is horrendous. What with the truck leaving everything so far away? The challenges become many. To solve the problem, local residents have so far raised 76 million Rwandan francs among themselves, the start of a push to construct at least 2 kilometers of tarmac road no later than July next year. Members of the Senate Standing Committee on Economic Development and Finance, who visited Gasabo district as part of their community outreach program, have urged local leaders and residents in areas where basic infrastructure for development is yet to be established to work together to address the different challenges they are facing, and applauded the initiative of the people of Jabana sector. I cannot criticize what they are doing. And when you look at what they have achieved so far, it is truly commendable. Working together is very important, as well as having a common vision, and it has the potential to transform their lives. Since 2018, tarmac roads worth 4 billion Rwandan francs have been constructed in Jabana sector.
Now moving on, farmers in Ramagana district who are growing rice at the same time practicing fish farming are saying that it is yielding great results because of its unique approach. Take a look.
The farmers are very encouraged by this new approach they have adopted in their activities. The fish do not eat the rice and instead help us to reduce weeds. Rice productivity has increased significantly and we expect to harvest fish too. For a farm like this, we were spending more than 70,000 Rwandan francs on fertilizers alone. Now we are able to use just manure at a cost of 30,000 Rwandan francs, and we get to grow rice and practice fish farming on the same plot of land. The technique, though not difficult to master, requires training, and the initiative is being championed by the UN's Food and Agriculture Organization here in Rwanda.
Is that we have integrated with what we call farmer field schools, so that other farmers learn from the experience of one farmer or two farmers that are doing this work. So they learn by doing. They see for themselves that there is a benefit in terms of productivity, and then they can continue adopting the technology.
Though the project is still in its pilot phase, it has already helped the farmers that are using it to increase rice productivity from 900 kilograms to more than 1.1 tons per acre of land, while raising as many as 12,000 fishes on their farms at the same time. The technique is usually employed in Asia and some African countries.
All right, now moving on Tuesday, Rwandan youth living in various countries around the world engaged in discussions with Bank of Kigali. Now the discussions aimed at introducing them to BK's diaspora banking service, which will facilitate them to find banking services easily when they are abroad.
Some of the Rwandan youth in diaspora held discussions with the Bank of Kigali about how they can access banking services while they are abroad. Some of these young people say that this will highly benefit them because they used to face challenges before.
And well, challenges when banking, I would say that mostly I don't like paying extra costs when I withdraw money from the banking machine. So, if I get a card here or a bank account here, then I don't have the same costs when I get money from the machine. So, that's my main benefit from BK today. Well, there might be benefits in the future. If one day I would want to maybe buy a house here or get property here, but for the moment, this is small step forward, and it might turn into something bigger in the future.
I think it's beneficial to me because as being a diaspora and also being from here but living abroad, I think having the benefit that I can have a savings account here where I am locally, while as being abroad and being elsewhere, and still having the benefits that I can, whether I'm local, but having the benefits of being a diaspora and being elsewhere and retaining that is good.
Nicole Kamanzi, the regional manager of Kigali branches in the Bank of Kigali, noted that this program will assist Rwandans living abroad to save and access other banking services of Bank of Kigali easily.
Today we are happy to host Rwandan youth who are living in diaspora. The purpose of us reaching to them, we want them to be our ambassadors in terms of what we offer as a bank to them. So today we were talking about all products we have, including especially the entrance, which is an account, and also to ensure them that you can access your account wherever you are.
The discussions were participated by 70 young Rwandans living in various continents, namely the United States, Europe, Asia, and Africa. According to the Bank of Kigali, 70% of Rwandans living abroad can access these services. Olive Nete, RTV News.
Thank you, Olive, for that report. Now, the Rwanda High Commission in Kenya on 12th July 2022 celebrated Kwibohola 28 under the theme, Together We Prosper. The ceremony, which was attended by over 250 participants, was attended by members of the Diplomatic Corps, Friends of Rwanda, and members of the Rwandan community living in Kenya. Now, the ceremony commenced with the audience honoring the national anthems of the Republic of Rwanda and the Republic of Kenya, followed by a short video clip featuring a message from His Excellency, the President of Rwanda, Paul Kagame, on Rwanda's liberation, which was among other things highlighted the logic and essence of liberation and key achievements registered so far, as well as the need for sustainability. In his keynote address, the High Commissioner of Rwanda to Kenya, Ambassador Dr. Richard Masozera, highlighted that every 4th of July, Rwanda celebrates the Liberation Anniversary, a historic day when Rwanda Patriotic Front, Patriotic Army, by then stopped the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, which had claimed the lives of over 1 million people in only 100 days further noting that the RPA ended years of persecution and massacres by the tyranny regime that had unleashed terror on the citizens and promoted divisionism along ethnic lines and kept the population ignorant and in perpetual poverty. Now, in his remarks, Ambassador George Orina, the Director General of Multilateral Affairs from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Republic of Kenya, who was the chief guest, congratulated Rwanda on how the country emerged from the brink of collapsing to a country that has now gained global reputation for peace and prosperity, applauding the gallant women and men who liberated Rwanda and stopped the genocide against the Tutsi. The celebrations were also marked by Rwanda's traditional dance performance, where members of the diplomatic corps, Rwandans and friends of Rwanda had the opportunity to network and dance to the warm Rwandan music. Always a delight bringing you the latest here in Rwanda and around the world. I am Isabel Masozera, and on behalf of the entire news team here at RBA, thanks for watching and take care.